What if I told you that the secret to thriving after the age of 50 isn't about what you start doing, but what you refuse to do anymore? After decades of trying to please everyone and saying yes to everything, I finally created my never again list, and it has revolutionized my life. Today, I'm sharing my 12 non-negotiables that have given me more energy, more confidence, and more joy than I've had in my life since my 30s. So here we go. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Carrie Stone, and with over 30 years of coaching experience, from business leaders to everyday women, I now dedicate my work to helping women over the age of 50 to step into the most powerful season of their lives. And in doing that, I've learned a lot about my own life, mostly what I will and will not accept anymore. So as I celebrate my birthday month, I thought we could talk about the 12 things that I refuse to do anymore and what I do instead. Starting with number 1, I refuse to neglect my health. After decades of fighting chronic illness and trying not to die, health has become a priority for me because it has to be a priority for me. So instead of neglecting my health, I prioritize my health and actually make it a part-time job. I do that so that I can have the quality of life that I have today. And I continue to press in and learn more and grow more in regards to my health so that I can be even better tomorrow than I am today. I focus on diet. I eat pretty much the perimeter of the grocery store, and I have a rule. If you can't read it, you can't eat it. Have you ever tried to read an ingredients list on ultra-processed food? If not, I encourage you to try to say some of those words. And if you can't say them, please don't put them in your mouth. Try to stick to the whole foods as much as possible. One ingredient foods. Those will serve you best. Those will give you better health, and they will help you to live a better life. I also prioritize exercise. I have to prioritize exercise. I can remember back when I was bedridden, I was in constant pain. And my husband would say, you've got to get your body moving. Motion is lotion. And he was so right. Now, if I sit for too long, all those old pains start popping up again. So I have learned the value of exercise. Whether you believe in supplementation or not, most people who live in America have pretty horrible guts. And science and testing is proving that more every day. And when your gut isn't working properly, the food that you're eating is not being absorbed properly. And most people probably need some sort of supplementation. I know I do. So I do take my supplements and I prioritize buying good quality supplements that actually get absorbed into my body so that I don't waste my money. So don't just go for the cheapest supplements, because a lot of those you're probably just peeing out. So make sure you pick good supplements. And then I have my medical team, and I think everybody needs those people that are in their corner. So I have my primary, I have my herbalist, I have my acupuncturist, I have all of my people who work together as a team to help me to be my very best. So prioritizing my health is something that is non-negotiable for me. And I think you should do that too. The second thing I refuse to do, as long as I have control over it, and it doesn't always happen that way, but I do not stay up late. I found what works for me, and I share it in this video right here that's about my nighttime routine. But I don't like staying up late because no matter what, my body will wake up first thing in the morning. And I know how important sleep is for me. So I avoid being up late as much as I can. Now I'm getting ready to go to my daughter's graduation. It doesn't start till 7. I know I'm not going to get to bed till later that night. So I will try, if possible, to sleep in the next day. But as long as I have control of my schedule, I do not stay up late. And instead, I keep my routine. I get to bed at a decent time. I wake up early and I accomplish so much more as long as I keep that schedule. Harvard Medical School did a study on sleep, and they said this: when we miss sleep in order to keep up with our 24/7 world, we pay a price with our ability to learn, our health and safety, and our quality of life. It may seem obvious that sleep is beneficial. Even without fully grasping what sleep does for us, we know that going without sleep for too long makes us feel terrible, and that getting a good night's sleep can make us feel ready to take on the world. Scientists have gone to great lengths to fully understand sleep's benefits, and in studies of humans and other animals, they have discovered that sleep plays a critical role in immune function, in metabolism, memory, learning, and other vital functions. Get your sleep. Especially if you are a woman over 50, you need your immune system working, and you need to do all you can to help your metabolism, because Lord only knows it ain't working very well on its own. The third thing I refuse to do is to give up on my dreams. And instead, I am choosing to pursue my dreams until I take my final breath. Studies suggest that pursuing your dreams and setting goals later in life actually extend your life. Engaging in meaningful activities, whether it's learning a new skill or rediscovering an old passion, you can combat loneliness, depression, and find your purpose. And pursuing your dreams will boost your physical and cognitive health. So don't give up on your dreams. Keep pursuing the things that fill you with joy. Don't give up on the things that have meant something to you throughout your life, because you had those things for a reason. The fourth thing I refuse to do is say things like, I'm too old to blank. And instead, I choose to have a positive mindset. Attitude is everything. You have got to have a good attitude. And when you're having that good attitude, guard your mouth. Be careful what you are saying and what you are thinking on, because what you say matters, and you will believe all that you say. You can read study after study about the power of the tongue. So guard your tongue, and then guard who you're spending time with. Because if you're spending time with a bunch of negative people who are always saying, I'm too old, I'm so old, blah, 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 you will feel that way too. As I always say, you are the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose carefully. And then read and watch uplifting things. Like Carry On, where you will always be encouraged to have a positive mindset. So if you haven't hit like and subscribe yet, could you do that? I so would appreciate it. The fifth thing I refuse to do is compromise on quality. I will never forget when I was newly married and I was staying at my dad's house for a little while in Delaware, and my stepmother was still alive. And I had been noticing around the house that there were just things they always purchased, like a certain brand, like Charmin toilet paper and Bounty paper towels. And I said something about this because, we were like broke newlyweds. And I said, wow, it must be nice to just buy Charmin without thinking about it. And she said, it's one of the benefits of getting older. She said, you're not broke. And you have the freedom to decide what you're not willing to compromise on. And for us, we are not willing to compromise on our paper towels and our toilet paper. And I remembered that all of these years. And when I started having the freedom to buy the things that I wanted, I was like, yeah, see, I get that now. Now I don't compromise on quality. I don't want cheap clothes that are going to fall apart. I don't want toilet paper that feels like sandpaper. I don't want food that is full of preservatives and things I can't say. I want quality when I spend money on something, and I would rather have fewer things and better quality. So I refuse to compromise on quality, and instead I invest in quality. The sixth thing I refuse to do is to spend money in order to get someone else's approval. I don't care if you like my 23-year-old red van. I really don't. I own my van. It's paid for. It's still running. And as long as it's running, I feel like I don't need to replace it. I don't care if you're impressed with my phone or my purse or whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to spend money to get your approval. I'm just not going to do it. I won't go into debt for people who aren't paying my bills. And instead of spending money to get people's approval, I buy things when things need to be replaced or when I want them. And I don't care if you approve. Don't spend money to get people's approval, and don't go into debt just to keep up with your neighbors. It's not worth it. The seventh thing I refuse to do is to dress like an old lady or like a teenager. And instead, I dress in a way that is authentic to me. In the description below, I will share a couple of the fashion channels that I enjoy watching, and they will probably help you too. And I just really like to watch certain people that aren't trendy, but just more like timeless and elegant. And they help you just kind of shop your closet and use the things that you have and get creative with the things you already have. So I will share a couple of those in the description below. But ultimately, dressing your age is all about these three things. Your personal style, which is just you choosing what makes you feel comfortable and confident. For instance, I took a picture of the outfit I have on today, and I hope that it turns out well because my closet's kind of dark, but I will share it if it turned out well. But I feel like I'm in pajamas, but I am in a beautiful, flowy, comfortable outfit. And I feel so good in this outfit, and I'm getting ready to go to a baby shower and sing. And I just feel really good, but I feel like I'm wearing pajamas. And that is pretty much what I go for when it comes to getting dressed. The second thing is adaptability. You need to find styles that align with your age and current trends and kind of blend those things together. And third, you need to go for authenticity. You want to dress in a way that reflects your personality and who you are, and avoid trying to fit into a box. It's one of the great things about getting older. We can get bolder and just more courageous in what we wear, because what's anybody going to say to us? Seriously. Just be you. Be authentically, wonderfully, beautifully you. You don't have to dress like an old lady to be comfortable. And you don't have to dress like a teenager to be relevant and to look young. Number 8, I refuse to wear anything uncomfortable. And instead, I dress for comfort and style. I started gaining control over this during my sick years because everything hurt when I put it on. But then I got really spoiled and really used to being comfortable. And so I don't like going backwards now. So Sunday, I wore an outfit to church so I could kind of see how I felt in it after I had it on for a little while. And I was debating if I wanted to wear it to my daughter's graduation from college. So we come home from church, and before I even walk up the stairs, I stop and I take my shoes off. And my husband says, "This hurting?" And I said, "Yes." He goes, "Yeah, they look really uncomfortable." I said, "They absolutely are completely uncomfortable. And I will not be wearing them again." They're really cute, and they're silver, and they're fun, and they're supposed to be comfortable because they're naturalizers, but they're not. And I'm like, I'm not wearing these to my daughter's graduation. I am not going to be in misery for 4 hours while I'm wearing these shoes. Just not going to happen. So I go for comfort, and I just refuse to wear anything that does not align with that. It doesn't matter. I miss high heel, beautiful shoes. I do. I think they're amazing. I miss some like tight fitting clothes and stuff that I looked really good in, but it's just not worth the feeling of pain and being uncomfortable. It's just not worth it. So I just don't do that anymore. Number 9. This one might be a little controversial, but I refuse to do anything extreme to look young. And instead, I do all I can to feed my skin and my body from the inside out. So I am not just, giving up and allowing my skin to shrivel up and to start looking old. I'm not doing that. But I'm not going to go to the extremes that I see people going to. And before I go any further, I just want to give this disclaimer. If plastic surgery and things like that make you happy and fill you with joy, I am not putting you down. If that fills you up and you have no issues with doing that, you be you. You get the plastic surgery, get the Botox, do the things. And if you've lost like 100 pounds and you've gone in to have a tummy tuck to get rid of all the skin, that there's no exercise you can do to get rid of it, I am not judging you. I would do the same thing in that situation. But this was a decision that I made years ago. I remember in my 20s having this conversation with a friend of mine who was saying she's going to do all the stuff. She's not going to allow herself to get old looking. And at that point, I said, I'm not. I cannot see spending that kind of money for vanity's sake. I can't see that. Now that I have kids, I feel that even more. So I thought I would share some statistics with you on the cost of some of these attempts to not age, starting with breast augmentations, which on average run about $5,000. Breast implants are designed to be durable and they can last up to 10 to 20 years. But the average woman who gets a boob job done gets them removed or replaced every 8 to 10 years. And this is not covered by insurance. And I will say, I know more than a handful of women who have had such a bad experience with getting a breast augmentation done that they have gone in, had them removed, and are still suffering and struggling with health conditions caused by having the breast implants. So I would say proceed with caution if you're going to do that one. A tummy tuck will cost you between $6,200 and $16,000. A mini tuck, I don't know what that is. I'm guessing not as extreme, but a mini one will cost you about $6,200. That is the only treatment of all the ones I'm talking about today that is like a one and done. The rest of them, you will continue putting money into your face in order to do. Botox. Botox costs between $300 and $600 every 3 to 4 months, meaning you will be paying $1,200 to $2,400 a year to put toxins in your face. And then fillers. Fillers require you to do every 6 months to 2 years and will cost you between $1,300 to $2,400 depending how much you're doing. That is another one that I have watched women get, and then they find out, oh, that wasn't done right. They have to have it taken out and put back in, and it's just a lot. And then there's people that just tend to go too far with it, and you get that duck look, and I don't know. To me, I'm very practical in a lot of ways, and I look at the money to do all this just as an attempt to look young. And I think I could help my kids pay for college. I could put that in my retirement. I could pay for a car. Like, there is so much. I could give that to a good cause and make the world a better place. And, like I said, if it matters to you and it makes you happy, then you be you. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, for me, I refuse to spend money to look young when I can just do that through diet, through exercise, through infrared saunas. And yes, I slather castor oil on my face every single night. I do. I take good care of my skin. And I can link that video where I share my beauty routine right here. You know, we're all going to get old. We are. It doesn't matter how much treatment we get and how many needles we stick in our faces. We're still going to get old. And I think the best thing to do is to grow old with grace and dignity and use your money for things that matter. Number 10, I refuse to give up things that bring me joy. And instead, I have learned to live a life of moderation. When I was sick, I was always having to give up coffee for an extended period of time, wine, chocolate, candy, sugar, all those kinds of things. And when I got stronger, I just thought, I am not doing this anymore. I don't want to live a life where I'm always just depriving myself. And I have so many things that I can't have because of different conditions I have. So there are just some things I refuse to give up. I want my morning coffee. I want my occasional glass of wine. I want my chocolate. So I don't buy Reese's. I buy dark chocolate with the best ingredients. I buy over 70% dark chocolate, and I buy the best and healthiest that I can. And then I eat like a square or two. It's my husband who downs all of my expensive chocolate bars as if they're a Hershey's bar. Love you, honey. But you know what? I want to eat the cheese. I want to drink the wine. I want to have my coffee, and I want to eat my chocolate. And I don't want to give those things up. So I do them in moderation, as anything should be done. Number 11, I just feel like such an old lady when I say this, but I have always felt like this my entire life. I refuse to attend crowded concerts, packed amusement parks, any place with tons of people and have long lines. I just won't do it. So I have always chosen to go to places off season and like just smaller venues for music events. I just don't want to do it. I remember back when we were dating and we had front row seats to a Garth Brooks concert in Atlanta. And we go to this concert and you can't really even hear the music. It was just so insane. And then we had like all these like drunk and stoned people around us. And this one guy's behind us and he just pukes all over everybody. And we're just kind of looking at each other going, we could have just listened to this on a CD. We could have actually heard the music. And I am so grateful that I married a guy like me who does not like crowded places and stuff. I give that guy credit. Our daughter does love concerts, and that guy has taken both of our kids to crowded, loud, obnoxious concerts, and you got to give him dad points for that. And I'm so grateful that he was the one that went. And finally, number 12, I refuse to travel uncomfortably, and instead I invest in comfortable travel. I'm just beyond it. You know, even when my kids were little, I would book flights for trips based on their nap times so that I knew they would sleep for like 3 hours of the flight. And it was worth the extra money to do that and to not drag my kids out the door at 3 o'clock in the morning to catch a flight. I wasn't willing to do it when they were younger. And then I went through a little phase of trying to save money and travel cheaper. And I was miserable when I got to where we were going. And I just thought, this is not worth it. And so I thought to myself, what is worth it? Like, how much is that worth? And $100 came to me. It's worth $100 for me to travel 2 hours later in the morning. It's worth $100 for me to have a nicer hotel room. It's worth $100. So now when I look at anything, I'm like, nope, I will pay $100 more just to have that flight. And I just did this recently. I was booking flights for Nashville, and I had a choice of a 7 a.m. and a 9 a.m. flight on the way there and the way back. And I thought, if I take the 7, that means I have to be at the airport at 5. that means I have to get up at 3:30, which means I will not sleep the night before because I'm always afraid I won't wake up on time. And I thought, no, if I take the 9 a.m. flight, I don't have to be there till 7, which means I get up at my normal time at 5:30. And so I just paid the extra money to make sure that I had a flight that worked for me so that I don't have to spend a week recovering from it. So I'd rather have the comfort. Same thing with hotels. I've learned Hampton Inn just really works for me. I sleep really well in a Hampton Inn. The air isn't weird and dry like some hotels, and I feel comfortable and I know what I'm going to get. And if I can't get a Hampton Inn, I go with Hilton because Hampton Inn is owned by Hilton. So I have found that to be worth it. I pay more for a hotel room usually, but I know what I'm getting and I'm comfortable. And when it comes to comfort, the thing that I will not do is go camping. Now, I did not grow up in a camping family. My husband did. He loves camping. But I grew up in a family that said camping is staying at a Holiday Inn with no pool. And that's how we saw it. We don't camp. And so when we first got married, we did missions trips in Haiti. And of course, you have to camp when you're in Haiti. And people thought I wouldn't survive. There were bets taken on that, whether I would make it through the trip. And I did. And I can remember my husband saying after my second trip down there, I think, he said, how come you'll go camping in Haiti, but you won't go camping here? And I said, because when I'm camping in Haiti, I'm doing that for God. When you want me to go camping here, I'm doing that for Rod. Create a universe and then I'll go camping with you. But truthfully, camping, it's just like I've watched women do this and it's supposed to be vacation, but they go and they work so hard the entire time and everything's dirty and everything's messy. And then you have no temperature control and you're sleeping on the ground. And this was before I knew I had Lyme disease. Now I think, why would I go out where I know the ticks are? I don't want to be out in the woods where I know there are ticks. I've already barely survived Lyme disease one time. I don't want to ever have to go through it again. So no, I don't do uncomfortable. Now, if my husband were to get an RV, that would be a different story. There's a bed, there's a bathroom. Oh, I didn't even mention that about camping. You know, after you have 2 kids, you're going to have a bathroom, you know, and no, Rod, I don't want a bucket in my tent. No. So I do not go camping. I love my husband. He goes camping. I'm happy when he goes camping. You go, you have fun, you enjoy it, have some guy time, do all that stuff. But no, thank you. I didn't want to do it when I was 20, and I don't want to do it now that I'm almost 56. Now I want to hear from you. I'm sure I probably said something you disagree with. I'd love to hear what you agree with, what you don't agree with, and what things are you refusing to do now. And if you're not 50 yet, what things are you looking forward to refusing as you get older? I really want to hear from you guys. I read every comment in the comment section. So let me know the things that you are refusing to do. And let's just keep building this community here of people who are purposefully living their lives with joy and intention. And if you found this video helpful, would you please help me out and hit that like button? And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you'll find out every time I release a new video. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys. You're so amazing and your support is just so touching to me. Thank you. Remember, turning 50 is not about limitations. It's about finally having the wisdom to choose what matters most to you. I've never felt more free, more authentic, or more excited about life than I do right now. The rules only have power if we give it to them. So make your own list of non-negotiables. Honor your needs and watch how your whole life transforms. Remember that the second half of life is the best half of life. when you make it your own. And until next time, carry on.